And so today we are very much interested, we're very much concerned about how do we, as civil society, pass it on to the next generation? How do we man our responsibility? How do we continue to do whatever we are called to do as civil society? And so I want to say to all of us here, those of us who are passing through, that will pass through the world here today as we throw out this very important uh, kind of awareness campaign starting off today. In fact, I want to say welcome to community engagement at 2 o'clock every Friday. We are trying to adjust our time for 2 o'clock. And today we're talking about rights and responsibility of each person. Do you have the entire probably concept of what uh, civil society is all about, or what are some of the things that we need to do as civil society? Do we play our role, or are we playing our role as civil society? And so, if we talk about rights and responsibility, what are some of the things that we as civil society group are responsible for? So the community engagement global mission is not just a kind of institution that is on the fence, that waiting for the project, waiting for some probably some benefit to come. Then of course we start our project, or we start our negotiation, we start whatever passion we have. So when you look at our preamble and read or go to our website, you will notice the different things that is happening. Uh, and then at this point, we started on the 10th of August. Domestic violence is a crime. Human trafficking is a crime. But people stay marginalized in it. And you can see, especially in terms of crowding, people take advantage of people and they traffic them and take them to places that, well, they not supposed to be, somewhere that probably they're not expecting to be, only because their country of origin, a place where they find themselves, is going through some difficult economical strain, and they want to find themselves out there. So human rights is not just rights, it's responsibility. So we assume the responsibility as citizens or right holders, and then we hold duty bearers accountable. Duty bearers at the government, we hold them accountable. We also buttress their effort. So if you look at the statistic worldwide, and we're going to be looking at it when it comes to human trafficking and domestic violence, this is about, not just saying it. We can invite everybody to our show, and over time, we're having this domestic violence campaign coming up at the end of the month, where we have people who will be speaking on different topics as regards to raising awareness. The world need us in as much as we need the world. We need our government to help. The world need us. So when you look at the book, uh, you know, uh, human right for children, and the essence of human rights, go to Amazon and any part of the bookstore you purchase, and know your rights and responsibility. You see, if children know their rights, they will know their responsibility. Not only the rights given to us, but our responsibility. The human right for children, actually, this book is designed to the lower, from fourth grade up to seventh grade, from age 8 to 14 years, and it's designed in a way that it helps students, teacher, parents to learn to help their children as they go out and trying to, to exercise their rights, and how do they exercise their right and then respect others' rights. So when you look at trafficking and domestic violence is a kind of complex a kind of cases that one cannot do with all the other. When a woman is being domestically probably harassed or go through domestic violence or harassment or whatever, she become stigmatized. Sometimes she doesn't want to live in that community anymore or in that country, and sometimes they want to migrate. In the process of migrating, you become a kind of victim. Sometimes, unfortunately for you, because well, you don't want to be where you have the problem. So domestic violence also has an impact on human trafficking. Worldwide, if you look at human trafficking globally, according to statistics from uh, 2021, 50 million people were living in situation of modern slavery, forced labor, and also going into forced marriage phase with their own culture. So the number of detected trafficking victims increases by 20% between 2019 and 2022 after COVID and COVID-19. So can you imagine why after COVID-19 or during COVID-19? Because of the crisis. So every time you have crisis, there's an increase of domestic violence, human trafficking, because people are migrating. They don't want to live in a trouble zone. So how can we as civil society leaders prevent people from actually being trafficked, or people who will be trafficked? How can we prevent them from being trafficked as civil society organizations? We have a very crucial role to play in the life of people. Except that role can be played in our own contemporary time. We are going to lose actually the advocacy, because in advocacy we are talking for the people. We are talking about good governance. We want for people to live better life, and well, sometimes it turned out not to be the way we expect it to be. So our responsibility as civil society leaders is not to see the thing going on and play deaf ear to it. Sometimes we don't talk about it. We project, civil society coming together to submit a petition to the government, or maybe working one-sided. The reason why we will sometimes take some time to achieve is because we might not be working together. At one point, 61% of detected trafficking victims in 2022, women and girls. 42% of victims are trafficked for forced labor, while many women and girls are trafficked for sexual exploitation. So, in most cases, that's what the UN would say, women and children, because women carry the higher burden. We saw the death of one or two young people back home, and the boys, the guy who was in the act ran away and went to how to call it, to Freetown, right? That was anybody could traffic him because of out of the victim or the perpetrator could be trafficked. So what are the trading down effect? What are the safety net we have or putting together as civil society? We'll speak about the summit. Then we speak about the experience we have and the reality that many organizations, whether a church, whether a non-profit organization, are not sustained because no money, no project is not given. It takes 5 years. Some of us are 2, 3, 4 years, and we don't have any other means in order to run the institution. So the summit is talking about collective efforts and teaching and trying to present a case empowering ourselves in order to have a sustainable kind of organization, not just waiting for project. And then when we are building our communities, or how do we build our community for sustainable development, not just to build it for 1 year and then after that time we see that they fade away. So civil society has a very crucial role to play when it comes to building up the consensus, building up uh, collaboration, building up network, building up partnership. When you see us talking about at the partnership level, a partnership forum, we discuss with like-minded people who have the same vision, working together to make a change, sharing our expertise. How do we deliver to one another? How do we help in whatever project proposal, our expertise, whether we have a business online, and then like the creative business coming up at 7 o'clock today, we're talking about how can we drive that creative business. Maybe we might not have all the skills that we're trying to develop, but somebody else who are part of the partnership forum might have the skill, teach us how we go. So civil society has a very crucial role to play. And civil society cannot play that role in the absence of working together. One person wants to play, say, okay, I I can do the best. So I don't have to work with our community engagement or probably our children assistance rescue mission or this organization cover because I already have sponsors. I don't have to work with these guys. But yet we cannot succeed in order to fulfill. We work together to fulfill. So if you look at 61% of detected trafficking victims in 2022 were women and girls. 61%. So when people are domestically exploited, they are trafficked. When economic constraint, especially after the COVID, like the report, went to 41%. So every time you experience war, every time you experience a situation of war or crisis or economic constraint, there is migration. So in the process of migrating, somebody can take advantage of you because you're trying to leave your country and find somewhere for safety. You're looking for safety net. And there are most countries in the world today, there's no safety net. There's no measure put together in order to protect its citizen. So we have rights when we read the book Human Rights, the essence of human right for children, and begin to teach it to the kids as they grow up. We be gone around here, we might not be around, so we leave able to the same way with the Bible. So if we stop talking about teaching people and giving them the sign of trafficking, not to stop it but to regulate it, that means the law was created not to stop but to regulate, because it's difficult to stop. You can minimize, but it's difficult to just stop it totally. But because of the law and the measure, the principles, the governance, if you have good government and with the application of good governance, you'll be able to apply. But it comes from civil society. It's a pressure group, whether you are advocates, probably you trying to maybe minister to somebody, or you're trying to preach on your pulpit concerning by governance. You're playing your part. So, but we have to come together, no matter how big, small, or the organization may be. If civil society will have to make that advancement or try to advance or to change or to make a world a better place, we have to come together. There's no way of where civil society would be able to fulfill the best possible way out there in order for us to change that way of probably the civil society a way of bringing change to our communities. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for us to do it. So civil society, on the other hand, can play a very probably a very active role in developing and changing that aspect of our life of things that we see in our society that have been giving our society a very difficult time. So human trafficking is epidemic. Human trafficking is a crisis, and if we as civil society leaders can put our works together, we can make a big change in our society. Pastors and leaders, we can make a big change in our society. We are pushing the point of giving these books, probably some of them giving them free, and especially the small one from zero to third grade, to most of our the government and private schools, because like we have commitment back in 2027, 2017, 2016 and 17. We committed ourselves to with the recommendation made when we had a campaign in Grand Cape County in Liberia, West Africa. So how do we actually as civil society work together when one person is having the opportunity, so the other guys are not having opportunity, so we can get along with them? We cannot achieve. It's just going to be always a kind of cycle. So with a strategic plan, looking at the summit coming up in 2026, gathering coming together to talk about how can we sustain institution or our institution, how can we build sustainable programs when it comes to housing for the lower income person in Liberia. How can that happen? Is it possible? Yes, it's possible, depending on the negotiation, depending on the level of our connection and whatever we are doing in order to help our communities. How do we look at civil society growing with a sustainable plan? So many times civil society died, no matter in the West, in the South, many civil society just living on surviving because there's no help, and people will not just help you because you just started on the organization. You got to build it up, have a very good system, not based on an individual decision, even though individual decision sometimes will help, but with all decision for collective or maybe board members and some of the things you do. So again, you cannot succeed. There are people that been in civil society for many years. There are organizations that have been established for years that the only thing you can see is that they keep existing, but there is no change because the people depend on civil society, rights and responsibility. We don't, at the community engagement level, we don't just talk about our right. We talk about responsibility of each citizen, each person. You have right, but you have responsibility in order to take action. It is not just about, yes, we are civil society group. We come from, we are found in the state. We have this, we have that. No, it's not just about talking. Like I said, just talking cannot do whatever you're supposed to do, but you got to apply it practically. There where the summit is, and there where we are when it comes to community engagement. Civil society have laid on the fence too much, even down to the lower home, from the home level, to the community level, to the district level, to our big civil society. We wait probably until uh, next year after we meet today in a big conference. Everybody happy. Oh my man, how you doing? And we greet one another. And then we say, okay, we got to meet next year At this conference next year, I'm going to be bringing Brother X, Brother Z, and I know you're going to be fine, right? We say that. So we got to be driving from that level, having a different mindset, practicing to do whatever we are called to do before God called us home, because how long we are on this planet. So community engagement, it's not just an organization on the fence. We engage. We want to get involved. We want people to empower our communities. We want for our community to take action themselves. Like drive this thing, not Jarvis. God gonna call me in a time in my years to come, and perpetually the organization is gonna survive because it's a big global institution that we're building up. This is not about joke. This is not about, well, okay, we meet today and then we close it down. Why? Because as visionary, we have a projections, we have a plan, and with you partners, people who are coming on board, we can all make a big difference in our society. I can give you a little bread to eat today, and I was counting. I said, count the rice. I can remember back home. What did this rice do to us? Right, we grew. Right, we got to eat. But if we keep eating and forget about the other thing, the future, just giving the people the rice, right, to eat, and don't have any plan for them, what happens in 20 years? Maybe giving civil society money to live for 6 months, and civil society feeding the program, waiting for another grant. So we are driving from that place of living on a handout, now driving to the place of being empowered. If the church is dependent on an offering, on a tithe, on the basic, and we have 50 members was able to maybe repatriate it because of the flood, what happened to that congregation? We got 50 members leaving their community to be displaced. So that church is being hindered. So you got no tithe coming in, you got no member paying offering. What happens? But if that church were involved in a project, if that church was involved in a sustainable development project and has something that were coming in every month, despite people were coming to church, what happened to that church? It means it can still survive in the absence of why it taking another month or year to grow a congregation with the other people that left in a different location. Maybe they will be traffic. Maybe they're going to be traveling from different locality and they can't come to church again. Okay, we have an organization, a non-profit that have fought hard and they win one project, and now, hey, yeah, we win one project, right? And that project is won, and that project, that grant is for specifics. It's not something you can eat and don't show reports. So after you have accomplished that, what happens to you? You give your report and waiting for something again, right? And so we are saying to the international community, to donors, to people who want to help our civil society and our communities, if we're building 10 houses for maybe 10 family with a lower income, and maybe we have a grant to do that, what happens? That particular 10 family will benefit from the low income homes that is going to be paying our rent at the end of every month at the lower cost to sustain, to also be able to build another one in 10 years. And then they own it. Now, so that is a sustainable way to help family and also help the organization to keep going. So when the donor closes down, what happens? You still have something to sustain. So we are talking about a long range. We are talking about perpetuality, not just eat today, kill the vision, dies. The church is actually an organism. It need to live. It need to live beyond probably the time that people would think. It's not about because they took the billing or because something happened, so it dies. So the community engagement is more than just talking about How do we meet? Let meet again, brother. Okay, yeah, we're meeting at the forum. That's not a vision. And consultation with different board advisors. What are their input? What is, you know, and then once they are not active, it's not just about because we want to be on the board. No, it's not just about okay, let's talk about this. No, it's about making impact. Right now, we're driving it and want to make sure that we have the right people, and if they are able to contribute to some of the things we're doing. Matter of fact, all these books, this a business. This one is the Java Book Drive is a business, a creative business, but it also a kind of way that we want to present it to our little kids, so that they're going to grow. This book is very inspiring. It's very much inspiring, and I was reading the book. I said, "Oh God, it blew on my mind for the kids, for people who are growing up, even a kid, they can handle the book, teach children how to respect others." So even as we grow up with the next generation, when we are going out, they too now will pick it up. If we are building up a civil society group with this mindset that we need to be sustained, even though we don't have project. So what can we do? How can we work together? Okay, let's put in for material. We don't give us money. Give us a material. We want to get involved into agriculture, right? And we have that opportunity. And it happens, we can use that opportunity to sustain our work, holding government accountable, even if there were no project. So the reason why civil society most of the time will fail and would not want to speak against the ills in our society is because of money, because of resources. We all have those issues. How will you be speaking no money? And that's that abandoned mentality of all of us. So with the experience we have, we are not just coming on social media out to grow up our audience. Audience growth is not about engaging. Audience growth is not about where we're going. It's about making impact in our society. You can give somebody $10 a day and well involved in drugs. And I was looking at a guy back there. Now people will start to realize that a lot of people was giving you, but they were destroying you. I want to thank the government of Liberia so much. I'm so proud of our government because looking at the police, the IG, these are great people that are working for us for our country. When I see people trying to ridicule they, then I say they are our invisible prisoners. Because can you imagine? The government currently is fighting against drug abuse, have showing the indicators, right? What is our responsibility as civil society? You can see the indicator, right? You can see the ghettos, things that you can see that will make you to be proud is when you see that no longer that you can see the visible or kind of structure, even though people will stay high, but it reduces the crime. So rights, we have rights, but our responsibility is for us to make a positive change in our society. You can criticize me. You can say, Jarvis, you support government, or maybe you do this. The problem with civil society is not that civil society don't know their rights or don't know their responsibility. Civil society know that they were formed in order to change their community, in order to work on projects and how they can contribute to the community. And as the buttress government effort, how do we buttress government effort? The places that government cannot reach, there are children that need help, that are parents. If your institution are connected to donors, your institution is able to alleviate poverty for a full person, full family. That is buttressing government effort. Your institution could be able to give free books to public schools, to government schools, no matter how those books are. That is the Jarvis Book Drive. So the Jarvis Boat Drive is going to be working along with community engagement, because the Jarvis Boat Drive goal is how to empower community how to read. If you know how to read, especially know your rights and responsibility, there will be a lot of great changes in our communities. If you know how to read and comprehend, well, you're not going to listen to people on social media about what they're saying. So know your rights, but know your responsibility as a lady. There are many of us that have violated. I mean, rights have been violated. We stay in the relationship because of insecurity, financial capacity. We lack the capacity financially to drive our own life and to support ourselves. So people take advantage of women because of that. So does that actually means that we need to actually quit or forget about our responsibility as civil society leaders? No. So domestic violence globally, if you look at early, 1 in 3 women, that is 31.6%, or about eight, and you can see that they experience, right, physical violence. You're talking about uh, 1 in 3 women, 31.6%, according to the World Health Organization, experience. We're talking about 841 million women and girls have experienced physical and sexual violence by an intimate partners. Can you imagine? We have intimate femicide. Intimate femicide is when a man or a male take the life of a female or probably relatives. Many of us have gone through that. A lot of things going on in the world today. But how can we work together to make a change in our communities? Domestic violence is a crime. Domestic violence, actually, when you look in the world today, is taking over, and only constructive people can really understand the domestic violence. How do we hold people accountable for the crime? So they become complex when you see the alignment data about women who are abused on a daily basis. About 1 in 3 women are assaulted. 840 million women and girls have experienced physical or sexual violence by intimate partner, or in sexual violence by an intimate partner, or sexual violence by a non-partner during their lifetime. About 1 in 4 women, 25.8%, who have been actually been in a relationship, have experienced physical or sexual violence from a current or former intimate partners. Can you imagine the line? 25%. So we have an alignment rate, but when we know our rights and responsibility as young children coming up, as we teach it to our children, with this book, is I will tell you the truth, man, it's so inspiring. It's practical, and like the other one, the essence of human right, which is the upgraded one with college level, and all can understand it, with 100 questions and answers at the back of that book. The smaller ones we have for little grad children coming up from kids up to third grade. This one is up to fourth grade, up to the level of sixth, seventh grade. Why we doing this? We are developing a material in order to help the young generation. Because if we didn't help ourselves, or our parents, or our generation was not active, when we see the the entire thing of the AI generation. It is time for us to take action. People will not be reading this book physically alone. They will be reading the audio. They will be reading they'll go on ebook, and to read my books in the next before the end of the month. All my books, I believe, will be on audio. Now, I think that is creative business. Okay, so anybody, you drive in your car, you just put your earpiece and you're listening to the entire book, and whatever you stop, you listen to it until you finish it. It's like music. So you see, technology is moving in that direction. So as technology move in that direction, the community engagement global mission and partners need to drive from this mindset. We can have all the workshop, we can have all the training. If there's no practical application, you can put all the certificates on the walls. There are two different doctorate degree that they want to confide in me. I said, wait a minute. I know you want to confide in me. I know that I'm capable. I'm more than doctorate. I'm not talking about the name. I'm here for practical works, because people who even got doctorate, they have not written one book. So it's not about writing. It's about the practical work that will be required of us as civil society leaders. We got to drive from one place to drive to this place, and we got to alleviate this thing called poverty from that level of our own understanding. Teach our children. And so when, according to not just statistics, according to information that we have, we know that all the religious group met in 2014, right? And to discuss about the human rights principles. They agree with the principles. But how many of us are applying the principles with dignity? We believe in justice, peace, and equality. But how many of us applying the principles of this whole thing called human right with conscience? So community engagement, it's not just we're looking for our sponsors for the summit. Within the crowd of whatever going on in the world, we believe that we need to take a very not just aggressive, no, not aggressive. I'm going to use that word. A very profound decision, a decision that will drive us to a place where we can have a fulfillment of what we want to do. Encourage people to be part of what we're doing, not to force them, no, to encourage them. And and listen, right and responsibility has to do with our collective efforts as civil society leaders, not only Jarvis, no, our collective effort. Domestic violence, intimate partners can do a harm to one another. If we have 140 women and girls are killed every day, I want us to listen to this alarming situation. About 140 women and girls are killed every day by an intimate partner. That's a global perspective report. Hmm. By intimate partner or an other family member. About 81,000 women were intentionally killed in 2023, with roughly 60% of those killing calling in the home. So can you imagine that kind of situation? So women go through a lot of abuse. How do we educate our children? How do we educate the generation that we found coming up in this dispensation? How do we talk to them? How do we accommodate them in our discussion, in our schools? And we're going to be talking to our people in Liberia. We're going to be talking to the government. We're going to be talking to the Ministry of Education to probably start to look at our books. Go to we're going to send our book to the Ministry of Education in Liberia to examine the book to see whether the book is probably meet the criteria for the children to learn. It could not be the subject, but let it be something that our kids will learn so that when they grow up, they are not going to depart from it. Because you see, right and responsibility is something that we have forgotten. We just talk about our rights. Most of us, if not all of us, talk about our rights. Now look at the alignment rate. Women have been abused. Women, 140 women and girls are killed every day. I want that, and that is the awareness we are carrying on in the world. This whole month is about domestic violence and human trafficking. But why should these women be killed? Why? I saw the other lady lying down dead. Why should they be killed? Why should your partner be killed? Because you don't like them again. Walk away from it. Read my book, the Code of My Story. The second edition is coming up. It's just the same, but with the audio. And I want us to realize something here today. It's not about me, community engagement. As a visionary, I believe the level we are going, and we are in this disposition of AI, where we have people lying to us and using AI to lie to us to believe them. It is time for us to double our advocacy to create massive awareness. So, community engagement present on social media aggressively, not because where we want to be here, but that is where we started. That is where our presence is more, because this is where many people are being misled. So community engagement at this time every Friday and other different subsequent meetings is all about creating awareness, educating people, working together to change our world. Not me. I'm sorry. I alone cannot do it. But with the collective efforts of other civil society groups, let's be frank. Go back and see cross sections of different civil society that have been registered and they are dead, or that have been registered that have not fulfilled anything since they came to being. Why you think so? Because no money, resources is limited in Africa. Even in America, there are some institutions that have to file a warrant, but they're gone. They're not able to even do anything here. They just they just center. They're just by themselves. They're not even. You can't even hear about that. So we need to have the passion, and that's what we're driving. That's what we are advocating. That's what we're speaking. That's what we are teaching. That's what we are training, because we have the passion. We are not looking for, well, the group of people coming to follow us on Facebook because, well, they want to hear content. We want for people to learn. We want for people to know their rights. We want for people to know their responsibility. To live a better life in any nation is about taking responsibility of your citizenship, your role as citizens, or probably a resident who will respect the law of any country. I was talking when it comes to right and responsibility. There are people that came to America, and they came to America through means of some political asylum or probably through means of war. But the same people that came to America that were accepted now want to go against America. How do you reconcile that? You see that? Rights and responsibility. So had they known their rights as children, or probably as they grew up, I don't think that they're going to come against a nation that they sold. Now, listen to me as we close today. We say, yes, I pledge allegiance to my commitment to the United States of America or to Liberia. I'm a citizen. So you turn to protect your country. So you're no longer part of that country. But now you can see, I stay yet to be convinced that there are people who were accepted and they became citizens for turning against the country that make you citizen. You can look at that, and sometimes when we see people talking about denaturalizing and all of things, and people want to confuse it. But I think if you look at the fact that I sold to be a citizen of America, I sold if I was a citizen, I sold if you sold to say, yes, I do. Your duty as a citizen for any nation is to protect our nation. It's not to come against the same nation that you are citizen of. That's what we are teaching. So we need to engage civil society, need to engage the reality of life. Life Empowerment Network, we believe it globally that you have to pull the foundation of what the Bible says. So again, I want to encourage those of us who are civil society leaders, and we're not here to welcome about achievements or it's a big show or Mrs. Big Show or I'm the best person, and that's what we are not achieving as civil society leaders. Because one person want to prove that they are reached their level, so they can come down to the level of other guys. And we can be dragging. Thank God for Gungalo. Happy birthday, 70 years. It's time. But the question is, what did all these civil rights organizational leaders did for our country? What is the legacy we left? That should be our question. So at the community engagement level, we want to educate people, want to empower people, want to empower organization with the training. With the summer coming up in Liberia, it's not just about going to eat. It's not just about, okay, we come to build houses. It's not just all that. It's about preparing for our future. It is a 5-year plan. And that 5-year plan must be subsidized by our grant and different organizations and donors and attracting our businesses to what we're doing. But how can that happen if I'm not a man with integrity? If I don't hold on and build up my own life and begin to do it straight with what I say and be straight, not to be banning, say today, then tomorrow, I'm doing different things. Go back and check all my profile. This is what we're saying. There are a lot of people pass through this wall. Community engagement has been very much intensive here when it comes to advocacy. Check around. If you don't want to give the pride to me, fine. But if you check social media and you check the advocacy and our position here on social media for the past 5 years, we would be the best prize. We should be carrying the prize. Facebook, if we really do that justly. But you know why? We're not concerned about how many persons will follow us. What impact are we making in our society? How do we change the trajectory of that? It depends on our individual collective effort that, we're driving this thing, and we are not looking at men. We are looking at what we want to do for our communities. And so, with the conscience and with our political leaders in Africa, that's a new generation. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about what God is doing and God will do. We got very, very dark men. We got different people in Nigeria. We got different group coming up. God will choose his leader. And it's time for us to focus on rights and responsibilities. The reason why we failed is because we are not taking responsibility as citizens of any nation. I can't be a citizen of a nation and well turn against that nation and bring harmful things to that nation, or join a group that is going to bring harmful things to that nation. That is not right. That is not your right. That is not your right. And that's where we need to start teaching our children, whether you are Muslim, whether you are Christian, whatever you are. Once you are a citizen of any nation, your duty is to see that nation grow, built with integrity, peace, equality, and justice. You can't be the bad guy at the same time for your own nation, and you expect, especially when you're not born in that nation, and you expect the government to see you not to be an enemy to yourself. I think we should be driving from this thing of encouraging people in every country That's what global mission, community engagement, global mission is all about. Educating people about their rights and responsibility. When we file in our article in incorporation, even our report every year, we talk about whatever we're doing. We are not politicized. We don't want to get involved into politics because that is not what we for. As advocate, we are not political, not religion. Our focus is how can we change the mind of that person, that little girl that is going probably frustrated because she was abused by her parents, or she was abused by an older man who will abuse her because her parents didn't have money. How can those children who are trapped in trafficking, how can that country that only believe that they can go to war now believe that there can be peace? So as we close today, our focus this month is about raising awareness against domestic violence, human trafficking, and it starts from every communities. If from the home level or even in the church, people that have been molested. We call the place, I don't want to call it a church because there are some places just need to be called a society. Because the church is a place of transformation. It's not a place to go and destroy people's life. People go to us for safety net. It could be a place that you prepare for safety net. They are looking for rescue. They want to confide into us. Civil society leaders, the custodian of peace in our communities. We are not the one to start bringing breeding of something in order for government to think that we're against the government. No, we can hold government accountable, not to be against the government, but to hold government accountable, to hold government feet to the ground. But we can't do it when we don't have money. We can't do it when we're not working together. We can be divided. Division always pull it apart and allowed us to be looking at something that we're not supposed to be looking at our civil society. All we know that Jarvis, I have the project so that I don't have to come to the guys. I think I can be on my own. I don't have to support the other guy because I can live on my own. No, that means we would not achieve. So if Jarvis is doing something that is driving the community crazy, then number X would come up and say, well, Jarvis is doing it well. I think I got to take the credit, not Jarvis. So I'm not going to support Jarvis, or I'm not going to support community engagement. No, we are saying with me, with you, with every collective effort, we can make a change in our society. And that's what community engagement is all about. It's not about, well, competition. No, it's not about, okay, I'm doing this, so I think I can do it better than this person. And I think with all this person, I can make it. Yes, you are autonomous. Every institution are autonomous. They have their own laws. But with collective effort networking, sharing our share responsibility, sharing expertise and resources together, we can make the change in our society. But the problem we have for the past decades in civil society, CSO have been affected only because no money, government buy us just by the single little project, and then we say, go to hell with the other insignificant guys. I can do it on my own. I don't need them. In fact, giving the money, big civil society groups in Nigeria, in Liberia, in other places. And when they give you the money as civil society, well, you lavish it because why? Because that's the bottom line. Most government does not want you to have power to speak. So they, in their interest, it's not in the interest of the people. If there were fire well to be built in that community, you build on it too, and the government don't have time. Make the report. Nobody else is following that development. Now we are saying collectively, let's come together, petition our government. We know that our responsibility as civil society. All we want you to do, government, is to make sure that everything works well for the people. How do we drive this? We drive this together. It means that when something needs to be done in our communities, we come together with the same mind that yes, we need this to be done. Subsidies need to be given to private schools because private school will not be able to pay their teachers to sustain their schools because they are making effort to teach children. And then you can't go up with too much tuition. So then you have to subsidize them as government or make provision for grants, for opportunities so that private schools will be able to access grant. That is all about the summit. After the summit, we're going to be presenting petition to government and not just sitting. You see, people will overlook it and say, oh, don't mind this insignificant guy. What kind of summit is that? Wait a minute and see what's happening. The problem with civil society is we have big guys that been in the civil society. We always tell the other guy, I've been in civil society for long. I've been sitting for the back. I don't have time to be recognized. I don't have time for that. My experience in civil society gave me more broader understanding about how it works. So we look down on the other guys who might have the passion. This time they cross over that. And now say together we can make a big difference. So no matter whether you're a big civil society, no matter how long you have founded, no matter how you've been recognized by government, every civil society group that will register have the power. Collectively, you can come together to petition your government along for the people to survive. You are not doing anything wrong. You're doing the right thing because that is why you establish, that is why you need to do in order to develop your communities. And so I want to thank you and follow us. I'm talking about domestic violence, human trafficking. When these things are not together, that means when you have economic situation in your country, drugs is killing our children or something is, it's a crisis. And when people have no job, they try to migrate. If things are fine, and that's what I find on most of the guys from opposition in Liberia, when they're talking, I say, some of you guys are invisible prisoners. To be an invisible prisoner is a bad thing. That means you cannot see where you're going. Even though people are corrupt, they are stealing from you, you still want them to be a leader. We need to desist. We need to rise up and put our country first. Every nation, we need to put them first. If you're a nation, if you're a citizen for any country, put that country first. And that's what any government can do, put the citizen first. What you can be a refugee in the country. If the president or whoever in the world is putting their citizen first, that is the responsibility of the government. Why would you get vexed with them? And that's why we need to pray for it. They care for everyone, but they seek their citizen first. So I want to say to all of us, let us begin to work together. Those of us who will watch this tape, we are engaging, and every Friday we try to adjust our time to 2 o'clock Eastern time so that we can be able to engage. We will be, unfortunate day, we could not host the guy from Nigeria. We're having a Nigeria time next week. Thursday is going to be strictly on Nigeria every second Thursday, and we're going to be talking about on the Nigeria situation. We're coming up with some information for Liberia ambassador for the community engagement. I want us to be very careful about where we're going. We're building up an institution with integrity. And I want to thank those of us who are with us, who want to be with us. It's open. Go to the website. You can become a member, a promoter, and you want to volunteer. You don't know where God is going to take you. We're building up an institution that will represent their communities. We are not building up an institution to be passive. That means you just want to wait for something to happen and not work for it to happen. We have passed this world. We are not looking at failures. Failure is part of our success. And so I want to thank those of us who understand what it means: domestic violence, human trafficking, what is the effects of most of the situation in the world today. How do we actually account for that? How do we take responsibility of our children, our welfare, of the people in our communities? And so I want to thank you for following me. And I say to all of us, those of us who are following, this is not about me. I don't care about, I can say, okay, I can go around. I got Life Empowerment Network Lens. I got Java's Book Drive. That's a business that I'm trying to initiate. I got Consultant Pro, which is my consulting business online, and I'm trying to stretch out. Creative business is something that you got to create something, create job opportunities for yourself and could be for others. So community engagement is trying to give people the right thing to know and also their responsibility to take action. So I want to encourage you, John, the resources is needed. We need volunteers. I may have the expertise to write your grant, to write your project. You might be qualified more than me. You don't even know. You might have the influence more than me. So when you get grant, I'm happy because I will get something too. I will work, or somebody for me will work. See collective effort. So we are having this coming up with this symposium coming up live, okay, to empower ourselves, open iron, sharpen the iron, drive the boat to the place that we can realize that we can achieve. We can do the best we can in order for people to survive, for our children to take it over. We live in this world. We don't. I don't care how big, small, old, or you can talk about it. Enjoy your life, yes, but one day God is going to call you home. Don't allow the enemies to intimidate you and tell you this is too big for you to do. Don't do it again. This is too large for you guys to do. Don't never allow the enemies to do that to you. I want to encourage those of us who are visionary. It is time for us to say yes. Let embrace, let work together to bring change in our communities. I'm so sorry that our other probably stuff could not accommodate us to work on this day, but it's gonna be coming up soon. So I want to encourage you, those of us who are civil society leaders and are willing to walk along in order to make a change in our society. It's not into distant future that we will have these things coming up. We might not have it coming up. We might not have opportunity as we see them, but we might have opportunity that we can make that change in our community, and that's what and we're talking about. That's what we're bringing up, and I want to encourage somebody listening to me here today that the best thing you can do is to make that change in your community, to bring that level of understanding. Somebody who want to say no in your society, bring it over. Let's talk about it. Human rights and responsibility. So God bless you. Until we see you again, follow us on the show coming up. We're going to be talking more about engagement. We're going to be talking more about the aspects of how do we cross over to the other side. How do we man up with the kind of pressure we have in our society? How is our own responsibility as a society? How do we talk to people and how can we get involved into community engagement? I want to encourage somebody listening to me close today. Find a way, go to www.commurtygm.org, go to program, and then to get involved. And then you can get involved by going into our website, become a member, not member. We don't have member. We have volunteers. You can become a volunteer. You can become a donor. You want to buy a spot. We're going to be talking more about the summit from Monday through Friday all the way. We're going to be talking about the summit. We're going to be posting up there. How can you get involved in Liberia? You want to volunteer. You want to be part of the summit. And it's kind of too interesting. And I don't want to leave. I just don't want to leave here talking about the summit. The summit is going to bring together well, sound, engaging society, a society, an organization, church leaders who really to make a change in our society. The summit is not just about joking. It's not just about, okay, my man, come, let's go eat some, let's go eat some bread. No, no, no. It's not. It's not only that, because I know that many will come and just want to eat. No, the summit is more than eating. Summit is to drive the vision and to make you live, your children survive, that would live and see this thing called human rights and responsibilities. God bless you, and let's make a change in our society. It is not too